He thought he was just helping a stranger stuck in a storm. But when she took off her hood and he saw her face on a billboard the next day, he realized he'd rescued one of the richest women in America. It was supposed to be a quiet drive home. Ben worked long shifts at the auto shop and rarely took the back roads through the hills. But that night, as thunder cracked overhead and rain poured in sheets, something made him turn off the main highway. The old bridge was barely visible through the storm, its wooden beams slick and shaking, and halfway across it, a silver SUV sat crooked, its hazard lights blinking, tires spinning uselessly in mud. Ben slowed, then stopped. Most people would have driven on, but he couldn't. Not when he saw the faint silhouette of someone inside. Small, panicked, and alone. He threw on his coat and jogged into the downpour. As he approached, a woman pushed open the door and called out over the storm, "I can't get it to move. It just slid and now the brakes won't hold." Ben glanced at the tires. The rear axle was dangerously close to the edge, one wrong move, and the entire SUV would tip over the side. "You need to get out," he shouted. "Right now." She hesitated, eyes wide. "I can't leave the car." He cut her off. "The car doesn't matter. You do." She finally stepped out, shaking, soaked, and wearing a long black coat with the hood pulled low over her face. Ben grabbed her hand and carefully led her across the swaying bridge, boards groaning beneath their feet. Only when they reached solid ground did she finally exhale. "Thank you," she said breathlessly. "You have no idea what that meant." Ben shrugged. "Just glad you're okay. Be careful next time. That bridge has a nasty reputation." She gave him a strange look, a mix of curiosity and something deeper. But before he could ask anything else, a sleek black car pulled up, and a driver jumped out. "Miss Reeves, we've been looking everywhere." She nodded. "I'm fine, Curtis. Thanks to him." Ben blinked. Reeves? That name sounded familiar. But it wasn't until the next morning, when he passed a billboard on his way to work, that it clicked. Ava Reeves, tech billionaire. Visionary. Unstoppable. And right there on the sign was the face of the woman he'd pulled from the broken bridge. Ben stood frozen in front of the billboard, engine idling, heart racing. That was her. The woman he pulled from a crumbling bridge in the middle of a thunderstorm was Ava Reeves, the founder of Cloudspire tech worth billions. On magazine covers, a household name in every business circle. But last night, she was just a woman in a broken-down SUV. Cold, scared, and stuck. He shook his head and drove off, still trying to wrap his mind around it. Maybe she'd just forget the whole thing. Maybe rich people had drivers and jets and never thought twice about strangers. But later that day, something strange happened. A black SUV pulled up outside the auto shop. Ben looked up from under the hood of a sedan as a woman in a crisp suit stepped out. "Ben Carter?" she asked. He wiped his hands. "Yeah, that's me." She smiled. "Miss Reeves would like to see you, if you have a moment." Ben raised an eyebrow. "Why would she want to see me?" She said, quote, "He saved me. I owe him a conversation." He hesitated. Something about that stormy night still didn't sit right with him. Why was she on that road alone? Why no security? But curiosity got the best of him. He followed the woman back to the SUV, and within 15 minutes, he was stepping into a private office overlooking the city. Walls of glass, modern art, and at the center, Ava Reeves. No makeup, hair in a loose bun. Same steady eyes he remembered from the bridge. "You clean up well," she said with a soft smile. He smirked. "So do you." She walked over and extended her hand. "I never got your name last night." "Ben Carter." "Well, Ben, I've had 100 people offer to help me in the last year. But you didn't know who I was. You just saw a person in trouble." He nodded slowly. "Wasn't exactly a life or death decision." Her smile faded slightly. "Actually, it was. That bridge, it's the same place my brother died 5 years ago. I swore I'd never cross it again. But yesterday I needed to think, alone. I didn't expect the storm, or the panic, or you." Ben's face softened. She stepped closer. "You didn't just save me from that bridge. You pulled me back from something darker." Ben didn't know what to say. He had fixed engines, patched tires, and once even pulled a man from a flipped truck. But he had never been told he saved someone from something emotional, something invisible. Ava motioned for him to sit. "I've been on edge for months," she admitted. "Board pressure. Investors. My own voice telling me I'm losing who I used to be." Ben gave her a quiet look. "And a busted bridge brought all that out?" She nodded. "Or maybe it gave me the silence I needed to hear it. But it was you who pulled me back." They sat there for a moment, the city stretching behind them, both from completely different worlds, yet somehow aligned in one impossible memory. Then she reached into her desk and slid over a folder. "What's this?" Ben asked, wary. She smiled. "A proposal. I don't want to just send you a thank you card, Ben. I want to offer you a chance to do more." He opened the folder. It was a partnership offer. Contract. Ava had bought a rundown garage in the city's north side, a place her company used to store delivery vehicles, and she wanted to convert it into a community repair center, affordable work for struggling families. And she wanted Ben to run it. His eyes scanned the page. "This is a real salary. It's a real opportunity," she said softly. "Not just because you helped me, but because I've looked into you, Ben. People trust you. You've given more second chances than you've taken credit for." Ben looked up, stunned. "You had me checked out?" "I'm a billionaire," she said with a wink. "Old habits die hard." They both laughed. But this time it wasn't awkward. It wasn't billionaire meets stranger. It was something else. Something like trust. 3 months later, the once abandoned garage buzzed with life. Kids rode by on bikes. Single moms brought in aging cars. Old veterans showed up just to talk. The sign above the shop read, "Bridge and Bolt, honest repairs, real people." A name Ava had chosen, inspired by the night that changed everything. And at the center of it all was Ben. Sleeves rolled up, hands greasy, heart full. He had turned down a dozen interviews. When a journalist asked why he avoided the spotlight, he simply said, "The bridge already gave me everything I needed." Ava visited often, not in designer heels, not with a camera crew. Just jeans, coffee, and questions about how things were going. They talked more now about life, family, loss, and purpose. One afternoon, she stood watching him fix a transmission while a little girl waited nearby. "She yours?" Ava asked. Ben smiled. "Niece, but might as well be." Ava nodded slowly. "She looks happy here. She's safe here," he said. "That's what matters." A pause. Then Ava handed him a sealed envelope. "What's this?" he asked. "The building across the street," she said. "It's yours now, to expand, or to build a life." He looked at her, eyes wide. "You don't owe me anything," he said gently. She smiled. "I know, but that night, you didn't just help me off a broken bridge. You reminded me people still do good without asking for credit." Ben looked down, quiet, then back up. "You know," he said, "if you ever get stuck again, I'll be around." Ava grinned. "I'm counting on it." And from that day on, every time someone asked her who she trusted most, she didn't say an advisor or a board member. She pointed to a mechanic in a garage who once reached out in the dark and simply said, "You matter."